When I walked into the house that afternoon, the silence felt heavier than usual. No music, no scent of dinner, no laughter, just a single note on the kitchen counter. Jake, I need to find myself again. Don't look for me. After 12 years of marriage, that was it. No explanation. No goodbye. Just a piece of paper and an empty home. She didn't leave because of a fight. She left because her personal trainer made her feel alive again. I fix cars for a living. Looks like now I'll be fixing something else in my life. My name's Jake Morrison, 39 years old, born and raised in a small Colorado town where everyone knows your name and your business. I own a modest auto repair shop that my dad started decades ago. Grease under the fingernails, burnt coffee in the mornings, and the same classic rock station humming in the background. That's my rhythm. For 12 years, I've been married to Ashley, the kind of woman who could walk into any room and make it brighter. She ran her own interior design business from home, always busy with clients, color palettes, and Pinterest boards. We weren't some fairy tale couple, but I thought we were steady, two people building a simple life together. But somewhere along the way, that steady rhythm started to falter. It began subtly. Late night, client calls. Gym sessions that stretched from an hour to 3. New workout clothes, new perfume, and an obsession with taking pictures, mostly selfies. She'd scroll through her phone with a smirk, typing faster than I'd ever seen her work an email. When I asked, she brushed it off with a laugh. It's just part of the new fitness plan, Jake. My trainer says progress pictures help with motivation. He's amazing. Chase really pushes me. That name, Chase, started popping up more often. I didn't think much of it at first. Why would I? I trusted her. I figured she needed an outlet, a new challenge. I mean, who was I to question self-improvement? Then came that morning. I'd gone out early to pick up some parts for the shop. The sky was just starting to brighten when I drove home, expecting the smell of coffee and maybe a kiss before she headed to the gym. Instead, the house was still, too still. No breakfast, no shoes by the door, the closet half empty, and on the kitchen counter, a single note, written in her tidy handwriting. Jake, I need to find myself again. Don't look for me. That was it. No phone call, no explanation, just those words. At first, I thought something terrible had happened. An accident, a breakdown, anything. I called her phone again and again until the line went dead. Then I started searching. That's when I found it. A second phone, hidden in the back of a drawer beneath old receipts. The screen lit up with messages. Last night was perfect. Can't wait for our trip next week. You make me feel alive again. Every text was a knife, twisting deeper. Her trainer. Her amazing Chase. I just stood there, staring at the glow of that screen, realizing that 12 years of trust had evaporated in seconds. That night, I didn't drink. I didn't scream. I didn't even call her. I just sat in the garage. Our garage, staring at her old stool next to my workbench. She used to sit there, sipping coffee, talking about how we'd someday expand the shop, maybe even hire help so I wouldn't have to work weekends. Now that stool was empty, and as the fluorescent light buzzed overhead, it hit me. I'd spent my entire life fixing broken things, cars, engines, machines. But somewhere along the way, I stopped fixing what really mattered. My marriage hadn't just fallen apart overnight. It had been rusting slowly, right in front of me, and by the time I finally noticed, it was already gone. For the first week after Ashley left, I didn't feel angry, just empty. The kind of emptiness that doesn't make noise, but eats away at you slowly. I went to work, came home, and tried to act like everything was normal. But everywhere I looked, there was a ghost of her. Her mug by the sink, her shampoo in the shower, her handwriting on the note that ended our life together. Then one night, I opened our laptop. It still had her saved logins. Maybe I shouldn't have looked, but curiosity has a way of disguising itself as closure. I went through her credit card statements. That's when I saw them, the first cracks in the illusion. Hotel bookings in Aspen, dinners at high-end restaurants, spa charges, and boutique purchases, all on dates when she told me she was working late or visiting clients. I cross-checked the dates with Chase's Instagram posts. There he was, shirtless on the same days, tagging himself at wellness retreats and client events. The captions read things like, helping others find their balance. Yeah, right. I scrolled through hundreds of his photos, tanned skin, smug grin, and an endless parade of women in leggings praising his inspirational coaching. I felt my jaw tighten. He wasn't a trainer. He was a salesman, and the product he sold was fantasy. A few days later, while I was working on an old Chevy in the driveway, Mrs. Delaney, my elderly neighbor, walked over with her dog. She looked uneasy. Jake, I didn't want to say anything before, but a few days before Ashley left, I saw her loading suitcases into a black pickup. That young man, Chase, I think his name was, he helped her. Thought you two were going on vacation. I just nodded, keeping my voice steady. Thanks, Mrs. D. Inside, though, something snapped into place. That night, I packed a few bags, locked up the house, and drove into town. I rented a small apartment above a boxing gym, the kind of place that smelled like sweat and steel. The hum of the punching bags downstairs became my new lullaby. I reopened my old repair shop, started taking more work, and ignored Ashley's texts when they began trickling in. I'm sorry, Jake. I need time. You'll understand one day. Please don't hate me. I didn't respond. What was there to say? Then, one morning, I found my truck vandalized. Red spray, paint across the hood red. Not enough, man. The paint dripped like blood under the morning sun. I didn't need to be a detective to know who was behind it. Either Chase, trying to mark his territory, or Vanessa, Ashley's best friend, who'd always looked at me with thinly veiled contempt. She'd gone through a bitter divorce 2 years earlier and spent every conversation reminding Ashley she deserved better. But instead of losing control, I did something different. I got quiet. Silence is underrated. It makes people underestimate you. I started planning. I installed a few small cameras near Chase's gym. Nothing illegal, just enough to see who came and went. Then I created a fake social media account and started tracking his public posts and tag photos. Within days, I'd pieced together a disturbing pattern. Chase was training multiple married women, always at odd hours, always at resort locations, always the same script about self-discovery. One night, I stopped by a local bar near his gym. I struck up a conversation with one of his clients, a woman in her early 40s, ring, tin still visible on her finger. She laughed bitterly when I mentioned Chase. Oh, him. He's a charmer. Had half the women at that gym wrapped around his finger before my husband found out. Don't be surprised. He's done this before. That was all I needed to hear. When I got home that night, I stared at myself in the mirror, oil-stained hands, tired eyes, but calm for the first time in weeks. I whispered. She left to find herself. Well, I'm about to help her see what she's really found. And with that, I went back to work. Not under a hood this time, but on a plan. Because some things aren't worth fixing. Some things need to be taken apart piece by piece. The thing about planning revenge is that it doesn't come with fireworks. It comes with patience. Quiet, steady, deliberate patience. I wasn't going to scream. I wasn't going to fight. And I sure as hell wasn't going to beg. I was going to let the truth do all the talking. A week after Ashley left, I drove to Iron Core Fitness, the gym where Chase worked. I wore a clean shirt, shaved, and even smiled when I walked in. The receptionist looked startled when I said, "I'm here to thank one of your trainers." Chase was finishing up a session when he spotted me. His smile faltered just slightly, enough for me to see that he recognized my face. Still, he walked over, all charm and bravado. "Jake, right? Ashley's husband." I nodded, keeping my tone friendly. "That's me." He extended a hand, probably expecting me to punch him instead. I took it, gave a firm shake, and smiled. "You must be the guy who helped my wife find herself," I said lightly. "Just wanted to say, thanks for pushing her so hard." The air thickened between us. His smirk twitched, and for a split second, I saw the fear beneath the tan and confidence. I pulled my phone from my pocket, pretending to scroll. "Mind if I get a quick photo?" She'd love to see that we finally met. He hesitated, just for a breath, then forced a grin as I snapped the picture. The photo said everything his words didn't. That awkward, guilty smile, the unease in his eyes, the tension in his jaw. I turned, gave him a pat on the shoulder, and said, "Take care of yourself, coach." That night, I logged into Ashley's Instagram. Her account was still open on the laptop she'd left behind. I uploaded the photo, Chase and I side by side, his fake smile frozen in time, and wrote a caption. "Big thanks to the man who helped my wife stretch her limits." Within an hour, the post blew up. Comments flooded in. Friends, clients, even her co-workers. Some expressed confusion, others pure disbelief. And then the questions began. Wait, isn't that her trainer? What does he mean, stretcher limits? By midnight, the entire town had seen it. Ashley called me 21 times. I didn't pick up. I didn't delete the post. I didn't say a word. The next morning, I got a text from Vanessa. You went too far. I replied with 2 words. Not yet. A few days later, Ashley showed up at the house to pick up her things. I'd already moved most of her stuff into boxes and left them in the driveway. But she didn't come alone. 2 co-workers and, of course, Vanessa tagged along. Moral support, I guess. When she saw me standing by the garage, she tried the calm approach. Jake, can we please talk inside? This isn't fair. I crossed my arms. Fair? Like how you were fair to me when you walked out with my savings and your trainer. Her face flushed. I made a mistake, okay? But what you did online, that was cruel. I raised an eyebrow. Cruel. I pulled out my phone and connected it to a small Bluetooth speaker I'd set up earlier. Let's talk about cruel. The video started playing, clips I'd gathered from Chase's gym's public social media. Chase flirting, hugging, whispering, and training multiple women, all using the same lines he'd used on Ashley. You're special. No one works harder than you. I've never met someone like you. Her jaw dropped. One of her co-workers gasped. Vanessa took a nervous step back. I paused the video and looked at her. You traded 12 years of marriage for a guy who treats loyalty like cardio, something he only does until he's tired. No one spoke. The only sound was the faint hum of the garage light above us. Ashley's eyes filled with tears, but I didn't feel pity anymore. Just relief, the kind that comes when a wound finally stops bleeding. Vanessa muttered something under her breath and quietly slipped away, realizing this wasn't a scene she could control. Ashley reached out, her voice cracking. Jake, please. I shook my head slowly. You wanted to find yourself, Ashley. Well, take a good look. This is who you are now. Then I turned off the speaker, picked up a box, and carried it to her car without saying another word. As I walked back toward the garage, I heard her start to sob, soft at first, then desperate. But I didn't turn around, because for the first time in months, I finally felt like I'd found myself again. If there's one thing I learned through all this, it's that some people will burn your world to the ground and still try to collect the ashes. A week after the public humiliation, Ashley decided to fight back. She filed for divorce, and not just that, she demanded half of everything. The house, the shop, even the old truck her father helped me buy when we first got married. Her lawyer's statement said I was emotionally unavailable, and that she'd been driven to find comfort elsewhere. Reading that, I almost laughed. Emotionally unavailable? I was the guy who worked 16-hour days to pay for her design business, who fixed her car, who built her studio shelves by hand. But fine. If she wanted to fight, I was ready. Because while she was busy finding herself, I'd been busy documenting everything. I had text messages between her and Vanessa, where they joked about starting over with my savings. I had screenshots of Ashley transferring money from our joint account to one under her name. I even had voice notes from Vanessa talking about how Jake's too simple to ever see it coming. Well, I saw it now. When the day came for Ashley to pick up her remaining things, I didn't plan to make a scene, but I knew one was coming. I called Danny Hendricks, my lawyer, to be present. A few of my neighbors, including Mrs. Delaney, happened to be outside. I didn't ask them to stay, but they did. Small towns have long memories. After all, Ashley showed up in a black blazer and sunglasses, the kind of outfit you wear to look strong when you're falling apart inside. And, of course, Vanessa was right behind her, chewing gum like she owned the place. Danny greeted them politely. Let's keep this civil, he said. Ashley crossed her arms. I'm not here to fight. I just want what's legally mine. I nodded slowly. Right. About that. I reached behind me and pulled out a small projector I'd set up earlier, connected to my laptop. The garage wall lit up with a bright white screen. Ashley frowned. What is this? Insurance, I said, clicking play. The screen filled with screenshots of Chase's Instagram DMs, messages that had been sent to another woman, one of his new clients. You've got incredible energy. Can't wait to see you tonight. You're not like the others. Ashley's face went pale. The timestamps were recent, days after she'd left me. Chase had moved on before the ink on her goodbye note was even dry. I stepped closer, my voice calm but sharp. Turns out your soulmate's been busy. I got these from a friend at the gym. Guess you weren't the only one he was helping find herself. Her mouth opened, but no sound came out. Then Vanessa laughed. A short, bitter sound. "Wow," she said, turning to Ashley. "You really are pathetic. You fell for him. After everything I told you." Ashley snapped, tears welling. "Don't you dare talk to me like that. You're the one who pushed me toward him. You said I deserved better." Vanessa's smirk twisted into fury. "I said you deserved better than Jake. Not to become another idiot in Chase's little collection." The argument exploded right there in my driveway. Yelling, insults, the whole ugly truth unraveling for everyone to see. Neighbors peeked from porches. Danny stayed silent, arms crossed. Finally, Vanessa threw up her hands. "You know what? You two deserve each other." She stormed off to her car, slamming the door so hard it echoed down the street. Ashley stood there shaking, tears streaming down her face. For once, she wasn't angry or defensive, just broken. She looked at me, her voice trembling. "Jake, can we fix this? Please. I made a mistake. I didn't know what I wanted." I looked at her for a long time. There was a time when those words might have gutted me. But now, they just sounded hollow. "You broke it when you walked out that door," I said quietly. Her face crumpled. She fell to her knees, sobbing, not just for me, but for everything she'd thrown away. I didn't comfort her. I didn't reach out. I just turned, walked back into the house, and shut the door behind me. Through the window, I could see her sitting on the curb, head in her hands, while the afternoon sun cast long shadows over the driveway. For 12 years, I've been the man trying to hold us together. But in that moment, I realized something simple. Some things aren't meant to be fixed. Some things need to stay broken, so you can finally rebuild yourself. The weeks that followed were strangely quiet, the kind of quiet that comes after a storm tears through town. The neighbors stopped whispering when I passed by. The calls from Ashley stopped too. I figured the silence meant it was over. But then one afternoon, a thick envelope arrived at my shop. It was from her lawyer. Ashley was filing for divorce, demanding half of everything: the house, the shop, and the savings. The letter described me as emotionally distant and claimed that I'd failed to provide adequate support in the marriage. I almost laughed. Support? I'd carried that marriage on my back while she chased excitement with a gym membership and a man-child in yoga pants. I took the envelope to my lawyer, Danny Hendricks, a sharp guy with more patience than I'll ever have. He skimmed through the paperwork and leaned back in his chair with a smirk. "She's got no case," he said. "You've got everything we need." And he was right. Over the past few months, I'd quietly collected a mountain of evidence: her text messages, her private transfers, her conversations with Vanessa. But the nail in the coffin came from Vanessa herself. After their screaming match in my driveway, she sent a written statement to Danny, confirming everything. That Ashley planned to take my savings, move in with Chase, and leave me dry. When the court date came, I walked in calm, clean, and unshaken. Ashley looked different, thinner, paler, her confidence stripped away. She tried to hold her head high, but her eyes darted nervously between me and the judge. Her lawyer went first, painting her as a woman emotionally neglected and misguided by temptation. But when it was my turn, Danny stood up, cleared his throat, and laid the truth bare. He presented the screenshots, the bank transfers, and a statement from Vanessa, all neatly organized in a binder thicker than a Bible. Then came the final blow, a printed transcript of the DMs between Chase and another client, dated just 2 days after Ashley left me. The courtroom went silent. The judge leaned back, sighed, and finally said, "Mrs. Morrison, I find no grounds for your claims. You are not entitled to half of the assets." And just like that, it was over. I kept the house, the auto shop, and my savings. Ashley left town with nothing but her car and the clothes she hadn't sold for retail therapy. I heard she moved in with a friend in Denver. Rumor had it, she was looking for a new start. Meanwhile, karma worked faster than I expected. After the viral fallout from my little Instagram stunt, Chase's reputation imploded. The gym dropped him within a week. Half his clients vanished, and the rest didn't want to be seen with him. His fitness influencer brand collapsed overnight. The man who built his ego around being adored was suddenly invisible. 6 weeks later, I got an invitation to my high school reunion. I almost didn't go, but something in me wanted to close that chapter completely. So I showed up, clean-shaven, wearing the nicest jacket I owned. When people asked about the divorce, I laughed and said, "Best tune-up I've ever done." It got a few chuckles. Then, during the open mic portion, someone handed me the microphone. I looked around the room, old friends, old memories, and said, "I used to think love was about fixing what's broken. But sometimes, fixing means letting go." So I want to thank my ex-wife for finally showing me who she really was. The room went still. A few people laughed awkwardly. Others just stared. And somewhere near the back, I saw Ashley. She'd come too. Her smile was tight, brittle. The whispers started before I even stepped off the stage. I didn't look back. Months passed after that. I sold the old house, too many ghosts in those walls, and bought a small cabin up in the mountains, not far from a quiet lake. The mornings were colder, but the air felt cleaner, lighter. Business was booming, and I hired 2 apprentices at the shop. Somewhere along the way, I started seeing someone new, a woman named Claire, who ran a small coffee shop near my garage. She was honest, grounded, the kind of person who didn't need to be found. One night, I was cleaning out the last of my boxes when I found a wedding photo. Me and Ashley, smiling under the summer sun. For a second, I almost felt something. Then I took it outside to the garage, dropped it into an old oil drum, and lit a match. The flame caught quickly, curling the edges of the photo until our smiles melted away. "They say betrayal kills love," I whispered. "But it's not betrayal that does it. It's believing the lies long enough to forget who you are." The fire died down, leaving only ashes and the faint smell of smoke. I closed the garage door, got into my truck, and drove off into the night. Windows down, radio low, and for the first time in years free.